All right, y'all, we live. I know how we do. Always pushing help well better understand the self. I'm gonna go over Steven Crowder. He did a video in the black community, and I'm gonna go over that and give my commentary. I seen some Sambos and Coons was going over this, saying that the black people don't know what they talking about. So we gotta get on these YouTube streets and fight the narrative, because they try to control the narrative to make it seem and generalize all black people to push a message, I think, an agenda. You know, it seems like they getting paid, but without further ado, let's go into what Steven Crowder saying. And is he a plant? He seemed like a plant to me, because he pushing the same narrative. You ain't talking about foreign policy. You talking about black people.
Completely ignore the discontent of young white Americans who, if you listen to them, definitely will make the case that they have been vilified and asked to foot the bill for original sin or crimes that they've never committed.
They owe each of us $300K. So I don't care how they get the money. That's not my problem. I just want my money. A debt is owed. You owe a debt. You have to pay it.
And if you marginalize that entire segment, that voice of the country, that will lead to quote-unquote radicalization. And if this country wants to avoid that, or at the very least, as we've done in the past, understand that there needs to be a major course correction in the approach to communication. That needs to go both ways. And that's why this time, I didn't visit the barbershop merely to listen, but to communicate a very real set of grievances that could bubble into massive consequences. This one goes a little bit of a different direction compared to
your marketing of this situation can have
the
consequences.
last time. This is Black and White on The Gray Issue.
And that's Stevie right there, the blue shirt.
Blue shirt. Oh,
Yes,
Steven.
sir.
I met Cedric. I think I scared him. I think he was. Hey,
Doing all right?
Yeah, man. How you doing? Good to see you. I need it. You guys all have your beards nice and right. I've never learned how to do this shit.
It's because people come here. Yeah.
Oh, I see what it is. It's a power move. You have me sitting lower. Can we?
Yeah, so we can all look down on you.
No, thanks. Well, they said you guys got some people coming in here after the last one.
Yeah, a couple people came
They just
through.
felt like, I think this is the place where white and black people have conversations.
So it was funny. The first person that came last time was he said this out of his own mouth. He was like, I'm Indian, but he had on a MAGA hat. Okay. And he walked in and was like, hey, I saw you guys on Crowder. Can I get a cut here? Yeah, I guess so, man. Come on.
Did you have your hand on your piece? You're like, I don't know. If you come.
Nah, because he didn't come like that. He didn't have the backpack and the ski mask on. Yeah, he didn't have that on.
Was he?
See, so when he said that, this is why I feel like Steven Crowder, he probably a plant, because that little joke, sometimes when they throw these little jokes, it be some truth behind them and they selling the agenda.
Was he nice? Was he good? Cool. Yeah. What do you guys think, like, when you see someone with a MAGA hat? Because I know we were kind of talking about that last time.
It depends on how they present themselves. To me.
Yeah.
For me.
Well, okay. So, like, what would present themselves in a way that would be like decent versus piece of shit?
Yeah. Some people carry that air of superiority.
Yeah.
And if you present that to me, I'm very conscious of that. If you present that to me, I'm gonna respond appropriately.
Yeah.
That's just me personally.
What would be like an air of superiority? Like,
just like certain things you say in conversation, and like you said, just in the physical nature of these chairs. Well, in conversation, you can physically go up and down and put yourself above or beneath. So when people do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that, because I actually, when I do the change my minds and sit with people, I actually kind of slump my shoulders and deliberately kind of make myself smaller, just to not. It's like, what is it? The crab that has the red under its claws is showing danger. So I don't wear red, because apparently that signifies poison. But yeah, no, there's all these body language experts now. You watching TV, and I'm like, this seems like horse shit. Like, he looks to the left so you can tell he's lying.
Yeah, some of it is.
It's like,
some of
no,
it
I
is.
saw him on camera. He killed his girlfriend with a butter dish. I don't give a shit what he says.
He took too long to say that answer. He had to think about it. No, he's thinking about what he wants to say.
Yeah.
He don't just spit out. He wants to think about what he's saying.
Last time we talked, we were kind of just, and the reason was just like, you know, often you see in news, people just kind of siphon themselves off right into an echo chamber. And I thought it was good. We were just kind of able to see other perspectives. Where do you think the country is now? Like with that? Like,
is that an open question? Or?
Yeah, race relations between, because last time I wanted to get your perspective, and there's a perspective now in the white community. None of us are an ambassador for the entire community, but things have changed quite a bit the last year and a half. Temperatures.
Now, in my opinion, he should be speaking about what Tim Tebow was going around saying and talking about how white men are the most dangerous to kids and white families with the stats that he's bringing up, as far as like the Epstein stuff. I don't want to get my channel knocked off, but it's funny to me that Tim Tebow is saying all of this, but Steven has a whole different perspective than Tim Tebow, and they both white.
Have gone up. But what do you guys think? What do you think we are in the country?
I'd like to chime in on that.
Yeah.
I'm happy you asked that question. There are a lot of social and economic dynamics at play that have certainly gone, in my opinion, in the wrong direction. I don't think that people really understand the gravity of where we're headed. We are vastly sliding into an autocratic regime here. And absolutely, I'll give you several reasons. You see, in order to have, you can't have a one-dimensional approach when you're wanting to continue to lead from a global perspective, all right? What you see here today is an isolationism approach which has never worked in the past because we don't have an understanding of geography and history, all right? And I'll just simply close by saying, you got to understand something. The rest of the world is grossly infuriated with the way America has taken shape. And not only that, we're ceding all our best opportunities to China, right? Look around you in the relationships they're fostering with everybody else, which includes Canada, Mexico, and they've even gone as far down into the Latin American corridor, fortifying their bases while we're still hollering that we're the greatest.
You talking about China, like in the Panama Canal?
Not just the Panama Canal. Let's pivot from the Panama Canal and let's look at the long-term strategy they have now, where they've just signed an agreement with Mexico to build another canal bypassing the Panama Canal. And when you look at the whole transatlantic corridor, where you've got now Brazil and Canada as well as Mexico trading, and they're stopping in Peru, where China has a huge presence at, circumventing completely the navigation, the use that comes with having to use the Panama Canal. So we'll avoid conflict with America and just simply go around America is what's happening here.
Talking about China?
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, I mean, I want to agree with the first part, autocratic. I think China needs to be dealt with, and this is the first time we are. I'm Canadian. Well, I was raised in Canada. Canada sucks. Canada is a dog shit country. Canada, the kind of shit we're doing, you can't do this in Canada. If you say something too offensive or I say something too offensive, you will be jailed in Canada.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Yeah. So I'm fine with the U.S. being the best country. I came here from Canada because, I mean, I have friends who were arrested. I had a friend, stand-up comic, was fined for telling a joke. I don't think people realize how good we have it here in this country compared to other countries.
But that's the painstaking part about it all, is the fact that, you know, I've always been one to say, and I believe this firmly, freedom is not a right. It's a privilege until you wake up the next morning and find out you don't have it anymore.
Yeah. It also comes with duties.
That's what I was about to say. It also comes with responsibilities, because while we free to speak and say what we want, and I went to Montreal a few months ago, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Bet you saw a lot of tits on signs. That's all it is.
No, I didn't.
It's just strip clubs. Our Times Square is a giant strip club.
It was a couple of them.
Yeah.
But no, like there is responsibility, and like everybody's from different places, different backgrounds. Some of us from certain backgrounds know, like, running your mouth too much in a certain space can get your ass whooped.
Yeah.
Like, you free to say what you want, you're just not free from the consequences. Like the consequences that come with you saying the wrong thing at the wrong time to the wrong person.
Yeah.
And that's where we all have responsibilities in what we say and when we say it.
Yeah. The problem, though, too, and that's, I was kind of talking more domestically, the problem with that idea is a lot of people are offended by different things. And so people get their ass whooped for something they didn't say, right? That's the real thing. I don't know if you guys were following the stabbing there on that train in Charlotte, Irina Zarutska. Last time I was asking where you guys thought we were, you know, as far as in the country relation, like.
Now, that stabbing makes me think it was planted. It wasn't real, because every time they want to sell a point, anybody that wants to talk about race relations, they're going to bring up that incident where it's like, that's like black people bringing up, you know, our town's burnt down every time. And every time we saying that, when you bring up something, it's just they bring up this that make me feel like it's not real.
Have you guys heard of the term black fatigue?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You guys know what that means?
Since the last time you came, that's become a thing.
Yeah, I was about to say that's just become a recent thing.
And do you know what it means?
I'm not sure.
I'm going to ask that you enlighten me.
Yeah, it's a term that's being used by people in the white community, by and large, again, saying they feel like they've been victimized and they're tired of taking that shit. You know, that was a girl who was dying alone in public. And that was a guy who was let out 14 times, including violent crimes in the name of racial justice, right? He didn't have to post bail. He didn't have to appear back in court. This is not the first time he's assaulted someone.
How do we know that was in the interest of racial justice as opposed to just being a
the judge said it.
A fucked up attempt at justice, period.
Yeah.
Like, the legal system has its flaws.
Yeah.
And people have been making complaints about that for decades, right? But that's just, to me, that's a mental health thing more than it's a black and white thing.
Well, I'll tell you why, because white people are saying it now.
Right.
Not just, white people are saying, hey, we're in the city.
That's what makes it a bigger thing.
Well, because, you know, white people are 12 times.
Bro, Tim Tebow is marching around saying something completely different than what you saying. So what are you talking about, white people? You pushing propaganda. Probably trying to get some views and likes too, but
as likely to be killed by a black person any other way around. I'm just going to shoot you straight. It's not even close.
Where?
Across the country.
Where? Like, not in
the United States. I mean, we're not talking about Ghana.
And like,
yeah.
What I'm saying is, in white communities or in quote unquote so-called white communities,
across the country, the rate is a black man or person, because most murders men. There are very few female murders. 12 times more likely to kill a white person the other way around. And then you look at the average amount of times that someone in this country is arrested before they're brought in for killing, charged with murder. Do you know how many times they're arrested on average before they murder? 11 times.
Once again, the justice system's got its flaws, and people have been complaining about that for years. We spend more time trying to fix that than trying to complain about the.
What did the justice system got to do with black and white? Like, what is he talking about? One crime. Bro, why don't we bring up the crimes of our townsmen burnt down? You talking about a girl that got stabbed on a bus that we feel like it's MK Ultra. Okay, they've been using in the 1950s. I've been reporting this on my channel. They've been having this for warfare, military weapon that people are saying that they're using now with people, that you can have a mentally ill person commit crime, right? But my point is, we got these plants pushing this narrative because they want us to believe this stuff that they pushing and not believe
white versus black of it all.
Well, I think, just like I was trying to listen to all communities last time, I think this is something that's unavoidable. If this community, if enough white people get pissed off, they're going, look, we're living in New York now, we're getting killed in record numbers, or Detroit, 12 times the rate.
You see the fear mongering? We see every other day is white people killing police officers, shooting up schools. They don't say nothing. That's how we know. Salute, shout out to Tim Tebow, because he did it, and you know he's talking about it. It's not too many white people that are. It is. I done reviewed some white people that's talking about it, but he's being paid to spit this rhetoric.
In our system, 3 strikes in California, right? That was a 3-strike policy. The reason that was changed, they said it was racist. Crime went down in black communities 30%. But now people are looking at their cities going, this is a fucking hellscape. And the murder is skyrocketed because people said in the name of racial justice, like, well, 3 felonies, you're out.
Because crime is crime, right? But crime is usually going to be higher concentrated in areas where there's high poverty. So typically the areas that's high poverty in this country are areas with people with this color skin. So that's why you're going to have that. That's why I said those numbers could be skewed and made to manipulate to look like Oh yeah, that's why I said in
Not at
white
12 times the rate.
In
Not at 12 times
neighborhoods,
the rate.
in suburban neighborhoods, white people are not in danger, and that's what this kind of fear mongering tells them is that you're in danger because you're 12 times more likely to get killed by a black person. You live in ain't nobody coming after you. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody tripping on you.
But just look at the case that we seeing on TV now with the CK. I don't like to say his name. Look at how they orchestrated all of those white people to handle business. And people are seeing that. And this is why they got to come on national TV, on the TV, and they got to tell us how crazy it is for black people, because we seeing it in real time, really what's going on.
But these people are just as scared as the other folks.
They are if they get on a bus.
Not necessarily.
They are if they get on a train.
That lady wasn't in danger because that man was black. That lady was in danger because that man was crazy.
Nope.
That man was mentally insane.
But why was he back on
family members? He had his own family members call the hospital to try to get him committed. He told his sister he killed that woman because he thought she was trying to read his mind.
Yep.
So y'all took this case and made it a race relation thing to say black people, we're around white, when we've been reporting on white people continuously being gunned down by their own, and nobody's saying nothing but Tim Tebow. That's all we saying. He's trying to push this narrative, and I think they're pushing it for a reason. They're trying to start some type of race.
Why was he let out, though? And I'm not saying it's because he's black.
Yeah,
I'm saying people look at it, though. The judge said
part of black fatigue.
he's insane, right? We agree.
That's not a black and white issue.
He was deemed not fit to stand trial, right?
Right.
Now,
He should
the
have been
IOU
institutionalized.
Right. The IOU policy, meaning you don't have to pay bail. You don't even have to stay here until you're actually convicted. You just say you'll come back.
Right,
That was the
which
14th
is
time.
messed up.
Yeah,
Which
the
is messed
judge,
up.
Teresa Stokes, black woman, said, well, this is about racial justice. We need to be softer on crime. So that's her reasoning. That's why you...
No. See, you see what they do? It's a black woman judge, and they want us to believe, right, that black people just putting these laws in. Bro, that was a white liberal guy who did that. Agent of chaos. These people are being pimped, and he don't want to speak the truth. We want to make it seem like, okay, a black woman is just gonna have this much power in the United States that where she gonna be like, okay, I'm just gonna be letting black people out who commit crimes. Bro, it's an agenda behind it. And he's tagging black people because he don't want to speak about the real people that's doing it. You feel me? The black judge is probably down with the supremacy. You feel me? No, it was a black judge who released him. It don't matter if it was a black judge or not. I don't care about black faces in high places. I'm telling you about it's the agenda around it. All I'm saying. So if someone becomes a judge, they're just a puppet. Of course. It has to be. Okay. I'm gonna give you a situation where it's judges that unalive themselves when they knew that they was under investigation.
And you can find dozens of examples.
That's her misguided reasoning.
And that's policy.
But that's systemic, though, right?
That's not representative of a whole.
It's not. It's
Right?
not. No. And look, we always have to say not all.
Right.
Like not all white people wear MAGA hats and are dumbass pieces of racist shit. But we have all been accused of racism, sexism, misogyny, homophobia. What I'm saying is black fatigue.
I'm saying I'm not sure if that judge was a puppet, but I can understand how we see how this guy is coming in the community trying to make a point, and instead of trying to listen to understand, it's like he's trying to convince, in my opinion. So was the agenda to reach the dangerous person on the street? It probably was the agenda. What I'm saying is we got other countries that's kind of got control over this country. So you can be confused at what you're seeing because divide and conquer is going to make somebody else money. So if you look at the stats and you see what we're doing with money and sending money abroad, and then you look at what's happening and people are talking about black and white, you understand that the real problem they need to be talking about is the foreign policy. They need to be talking about who can be pimping them. Couldn't there be a country that's pimping them? Like we're talking about judges and crime when it benefits somebody else to see America in chaos and having problems and fighting with each other.
Is white people going, you know what? I know I'm not racist. And I know that we're dealing with record crime, and I know that I'm more at risk, and they have negative interactions, and they're constantly told that they're not allowed to voice their fucking opinion because they're white. And if those people get pissed off, like that's where we actually could end up with some kind of, I'm telling you, I see this brewing. I see people who are milquetoast white suburban who are becoming actually racist. Now, not all of them, but I've seen people actually become racist because they get mugged, their store gets looted, and nothing gets done. They're going, and if I say something, it's turned into a race thing. I'm telling you what, that's where
He said, this is what he said, why you got to say he said, man, I'm telling you, man, white people are, man, they're going to do something. It's like, bro, who are you around? What white people are you talking about? Because I'm telling you, it's Tim Tebow. I've been showing on my channel, it's a lot of white people that's saying they're holding the white people accountable because they're crying and bickering when they wasn't holding their own people accountable since the 20s. They never spoke up when white people was bombing Black Wall Street, Rosewood, and all of our black towns. They never had people speaking up on the violence that white people did in this country. But now they want to speak about a minute 13% of crime that's done on black people, and you will get some crime on black and white here or there. You want to make me seem like this is the biggest problem that we have in America. This is not real.
it's coming from. At what point do we have a talk and go like, okay, let's reform justice, but we have to be honest as to why it was reformed in the first place. This guy, it's not even the only one. It's every 3 days someone's being offed.
Yeah, but at the same time, let's transfer that over to, I mean, there's a lot of unsafe things in this world. Like getting mugged by a black person is not the paramount unsafe thing. There's school shootings, there's road rage, there's all of that shit.
Yep.
And the primary people that commit a lot of those are people who don't have this skin.
No.
So if by
and why don't we talk about the pedophilia? The family side, white men who take out their whole family, they dominate these stats. And we're talking about capital crimes. They dominate these stats. Why isn't he talking about this? We're talking about black fatigue, where you got people who was locked up in jail for flowers. You got black people who was in jail for flowers. Something that's so minute, but you're not speaking about the treason that's done to the country. That's money that's being exploited out the country, the taxes that's rising, the food prices that's going up. I'm saying that it's like, I feel like this is just playing, and he's not speaking on white violence at all.
If switch it over, if black people say, well, we getting fed up and we tired of all these school shootings and all of these road rage and all that, who do we say something to? Who hears our voice?
And when does the white fatigue kick in?
When does the white fatigue kick in?
Well, we've been hearing about white, that's the point, right? We've been hearing about it all our lives, about white fatigue, about systemic discrimination.
But nothing's ever been done. That's the problem.
He said, I've been hearing about white fatigue all my life, bro. The empires, you looked at when they traveled to other people's countries and took over their land. So to be in this position and know what your ancestors been through and know what you've been through and you hear it all the time, to now be talking like this amongst black people makes no sense. To make it seem like black people is just out of hand. It's like you don't know history if you speaking like this.
It has been done. That's why we've done systemic justice reform that has led to more crime, right? That's the reason for no three-strike policy. That's the reason for cashless bail. That's the reason for catch and release. The reason for it, in the wake of Black Lives Matter, George Floyd riots, Summer of Love, was we're going to reform crime, we're going to reform the justice system, and it's gotten worse everywhere it's been. And then when white people leave those neighborhoods, well, now it's white flight. If they come in, it's gentrification. And I'm telling you.
So basically what this guy don't really understand what he's saying is, this is puppet stuff, bro. This is not black people. Like Black Lives Matter ain't had nothing to do with black people. It was some black people that benefited, but it had nothing to do with black people. It didn't benefit black people in no way. These policies that he talking about, you think black people coming up with these policies? Look, on my channel, I go over that. A lot of the higher ups in the black community are ran. Okay, they already, I'm finna drop a video at 12 o'clock about Cory Booker. It's a lot of black people that have taken oaths to other things that has nothing to do with America, it has nothing to do with black people. But we're gonna judge them like they're really down with us. And this is where, the waters get muddy.
Only there are a lot of people who are pissed off, and they're not going to sit down and have this conversation and be real about it. And they're going, well, what happens when someone has to keep their mouth shut about everything?
Nobody tell you have to keep
That's
your
how they
mouth
feel.
shut.
That's how they feel.
I don't believe white people have to keep their mouth shut. I think white people don't speak up about a lot of the things that they do and they perpetuate that affects us negatively. That's the stuff that nobody wants to. The issues aren't made about those things. I really respect the platform that you have because you do have open and honest conversations. And I have to say, I don't believe that those numbers about the black people murdering white people are correct. I don't believe those numbers are correct.
What if they are? What if I'm not lying to you?
If you're not, then I've been misled and I've been isolated from realistic numbers. But I know in this country, from the time that we got here and until now, there's never been hordes of black people that just go out and maraud and menace white people. Interactions happen and things do occur. I'm not saying that they don't, but not by and large in number. We can't be this small a percentage of the overall population and still have the numbers that people try to perpetuate onto us. See, black people do more harm.
Exactly. This is what I'm saying, bro. I understand the climate of the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, and today. And you trying to tell me, right? We had over 20 million abortions. You trying to tell me it's not a agenda to diminish the black race. Like, they're on to that already. So just having these talks and them trying to speak to us, it's just them trying to sell us on the idea of how they want us to act. And I got a video dropping at 12 o'clock that's going to show y'all people have meetings to talk to black people on how to deal with black people. I'm going to prove it to you. It's meetings that go around where they talk to high class black people on relations on how to deal with black people. Why are they doing that? Why don't they just leave black people alone? It's a reason for all of this. But they'll just say black people is just crazy. They try to generalize us to make us, they're selling us. They want to sell us on what they want us to be.
The other black people than we do the other white people.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Because
people who are close, that's true.
We also have historical evidence of groups of white people attacking and chasing black people.
So it's
coming after.
So when people
we have
say
historical
it's not
evidence
happening now.
So
I'm just saying,
and that's the point. We're at a precipice right now.
That's a part of the historical condition.
Here, it's not happening now. Do you hear this dumb stuff? So think about it, Stephen. It's not happening now, right? But do you feel that what black people are doing now can even relate to towns being burnt down and mobs burning down 200 cities? For you to come all the way this far and says, oh man, we're getting so crazy and scared of black people. How did they come to this point? If they had their towns burnt down, why didn't they do all of this then? Why, as us at black people, didn't do anything crazy to y'all? Why is it now you saying that we want to do all of it? He ain't making no sense. If that was back then, what is you saying? Let me let him go.
Sure, but someone today.
Hold on. I wasn't finished making my point. I wasn't finished making my point. When like I said, black fatigue, that's the newest mantra that's been put out into society to make people think that, okay, they tired.
Yes, and that's not the real black fatigue. We came up with black fatigue. It's crazy, I can't remember my lady's name, but she came up with the black fatigue word and it meant the opposite of what they pushing at it now. It's like they colonizing that too. It's like, bro, it's getting so crazy that we can't even have nothing of our own. You done took black fatigue and turned it around.
Of black people, they're tired of what you said, that we can't say anything about black people. We can't do well. When you hold all the power, when you hold all the economic rights, when you hold all the things that make this country move, when you're in charge of those things, you know what I'm saying? Well, you know what? I put it like this: white people got the firecrackers, we got the stem. That's it. Y'all got the power. The power is placed outside of the black community. We're charged with all the negative things. Those are the things that are really generally coincide with how people relate to us. The bad stuff that's go wrong with this world is the black people's fault. We the smallest part of this country. Remember that. You know what I'm saying? Beside the immigrants that come here, we have been tasked with the negative, the criminal, the immoral. That's us. And That's what we consider, that's white fatigue. But you know what we do? We just say, that's just how it's always been. So we don't make up words for it or terms for it. So now you have a frustrated group of white constituents that feel like, oh, we can't say anything. We have to do this, we have to do that, so you don't be deemed as that. Well, if you wasn't that in the beginning to start with, there would be no need for the reform or the feelings that you have. You can't say anything about, because you done treated us like shit for so long, and people finally stood up and said, hey, you got to stop treating us like shit. Now that you won't feel like, you know, things aren't going in the manner that you want them, now we want the right to keep saying those things.
What if your premise is completely flawed? And what I mean by that is, if we're trying to understand it, you said you have power in all those institutions.
Yes.
What if, for example, you have an entire generation of people, young white men, women, who if they apply to a college or apply to a job, they don't have a grant, there's no Pell Grant, there's no type of subsidy, there's no DEI initiative. As a matter of fact, they're likely to be passed over. They hold no institutional power. And when you say black people haven't done anything, when you think of this white person, a young white person, because I'm seeing some people become radicalized and it can become a problem. Yeah. And then they see billions of dollars and riots and damages all summer long, and then they go, why is this happening? Black Lives Matter, right? So they're going to make that connection. Now, they have no institutional power, but if they go into a neighborhood that's largely black, they're going to get the shit kicked out of them. And they're being blamed for...
Do you see this? This man just said if a white person go into a black neighborhood right now, they're going to get the shit beat out of them. That is such a lie, bro. Now, anywhere you can go, bro, it's, you know, it's black people been reporting on sundown towns and anything. But my point is, the fact that he's fear-mongering us like something can happen is what's really
something
cool.
that supposedly their racist forefather did that they have nothing to do with. You think we're ever going to have unity? This is the problem. Unity, if let's say your dad's a or your grandfather's a and you walk up and you slap his teenager, you now have made that person hate you for life. And that's what I'm seeing with young, not even my generation. Younger people are going, I had nothing to do with this shit. They came up during the riots. They've come up under DEI, and they're seeing.
They keep bringing up all of this policy, but let's keep it real. If a white man with a white man come up and shoot him dead or slap him in the face, it seems like they don't have that same energy towards them. White man come and do something, they don't got the same energy. They come shoot your police officer. Why you ain't talking about that? They, you know, like what is you talking about? You got one stabbing of a lady on the bus that we feel like was manufactured. And this man coming in the barbershop talking this garbage.
A 12-time murder rate, skyrocketing crime, and any proposals they make not holding institutional power, shut down as racist.
Now, why was DEI even instituted in the first place? Because for the majority of time that black people have been in this country and been free, we've been denied so much. Somebody somewhere had to put some things in place to provide access of some kind.
If you believe that, that's fine, but you can't tell that young white kid who had nothing to do with it that he should just sit down and take it, especially when they're getting killed at 12 times.
But see, they pimping it too, because they're doing this and acting like they're doing stuff for black people, but the wealth gap's still there. Okay, a white woman is gonna be having 10 times more. A black man, a white man is gonna have 10 more times than a black man. So it's like none of that stuff is mattering with the policy. We see that it's not changing the economic structure for us.
That's what America's been telling us for the longest.
The young white man that has to
not in my
with
lifetime.
DEI, the young person of this generation that you said that feels they're misled by the being mistreated by the DEI.
I'm just using as an example. They don't hold any institutional power. Young white people don't. They don't have an advantage.
Not yet, because they're young white people. They haven't advanced to where they're middle-aged white people, where the power comes. See, when black people, once again, when you got colleges that denied access to black people, you can't come here. Something had to be put in place. Well, look, y'all got to let some black people come here. Y'all can't just
that started happening long before DEI. Long before black people were admitted into colleges, HBCUs.
Hold on, let me say what I'm trying to say.
My bad. I'm trying to make it clear.
He's trying to do a senior census and talk through you. So
I get it. DEI is just a new way of wrapping affirmative action.
Yeah.
Affirmative action had to be put in place because there was the access being denied. So the legislation had to be put in place. Well, look, we can't just exclude all of them. So somewhere along the line, they have to be allowed some access. Okay, that was put in place. Now, fast forward till now, those same things that are put in place for those people back in those generations that are still in place, they're not excluding people from getting to places they're just still trying to keep those doors open so that those black people that were coming through that door can still get in. Because if you remove those, over time, we will be denied the access.
If a black person has lower SATs, right, and lower GPA, should he get in over an Asian or a white person?
Let me ask.
If all things are supposed to be laid out equal, no, you shouldn't get. If you don't have it,
that's what's
what
happening.
it takes to get in. No, but
It is happening, and I'm telling you, young white dudes are pissed.
That's
I'm
not
telling
the
you.
majority of what's happening.
It is happening. It is happening.
Relates to DEI, first of all. DEI has been more beneficial. I'm a former commercial contractor, all right? DEI and affirmative action have benefited white people vastly more so than black people. All you gotta do is look at the business ownership or what have you, and you notice that as long as that white female happens to be 51%, then she qualifies as a minority and a double minority because she's white, she's among the minority in business ownership, and she happens to be a female, right? So you look at that based on population dynamics, and that automatically tells you this whole thing about DEI was number one, not as much targeted towards blacks as much as it was targeted towards minorities, which includes that LGBT.
I agree.
Right? So when we talk about that, we need to really deal with the real problem. And as it relates to the riots, let me tell you something right now. Listen, in the black community, I'll be the first to acknowledge, we do have intractable problems that are not going to be solved in one conversation. But what I'm going to say about that as well as the reason why the black community becomes so infuriated, all right, is when you see gross negligence of justice happen or misjustice happening and nobody does anything. When this guy kneeled on this man's neck, we're going back to George Floyd. Look, if he had done something when he was subdued and on the ground, what was
And not even George Floyd. Let's just take it back to in the times when they was burning our towns and stuff. We had white people that sit back and they ain't say nothing. They didn't say how they talking right now about black people. That's what I'm saying. Like, you should have been one of them Stephen Crowder that stepped up and talked about the mistreatment.
the real reason for kneeling on his neck except to inflict fatal harm? What was it?
I can tell you exactly what it was, and I can tell you why you're not recognizing the problem. Because the opinion polls, and I'm not saying right or wrong, the opinion polls have changed on George Floyd since I last spoke with you. You know why?
Why?
All the body cam footage came out. You know what? You know why? Because he was there for 12, 15 minutes, asked to be put in the car, they put him in the car, asked for air conditioning, gave him air conditioning, asked to be taken out of the car, they took him out of the car. He wouldn't stop moving. People have watched it now and go, you know what? It's not what I thought it was. You know how many times he was arrested before that? 9. He shouldn't have been. You know what would have saved him? 3-strike policy. He robbed a woman at gunpoint with a child in the house. And so white people look at it, young white people, right, who you have to understand during COVID, this is a whole generation of people. White people did not have any fucking opportunities during COVID. They didn't get to go to the graduation, college, black, white, all of them, right? It's a generation that's pissed. Rightfully so, they got screwed. I think we can agree on that. They're going, I watched my city burn down for a guy who was arrested 9 times and committed violent crimes against women. What?
Now, you know,
That's a travesty of justice.
No, but this dude, he's smart enough to understand that you can't put that on black people and generalize that. You know that, bro. That's a white liberal whole campaign of people, bro. Like, this is what it is crazy that any policy they think that come in, they think a black person, because they a puppet, they able to have this kind of power, bro. No black person in politics in any of this America got any pull and could do anything.
He shouldn't be out in public.
Let me say the CS.
How many felonies does President Trump have on his record? Yeah, he was still allowed to
None.
occupy the most.
No criminal felonies.
He has no criminal felonies, but he's got moral felonies, which would, if there was a court of justice for that, he probably would be tried a long time ago. I mean, let's talk about it.
Is this where we all get on board with crazy white bitches
No,
who
not
accuse
at all.
men of rape?
No,
Like,
not
I
at
thought
all.
we she accused 26 men of rape, that
Not
crazy
at all. But
broad.
here's the reality, though. And when you look at the convergence of this new agenda, where you're going strictly in the blue cities, why is it that most of those blue cities also happen to be occupied? The areas they're going in are heavily occupied by minorities. Why is that so?
Well, 'cause
Black people tend to vote Democrat, and they're run by Democrats. Detroit, you can look at it. You can look at Chicago. Is that what you mean?
I mean, no, that's not what I'm asking you at all. What I'm asking you is, like I said, with this all-out assault right now, just last night they were talking about something in Chicago, right? But at 1 o'clock in the morning, you had people in military gear, where have you, helicopters and all this kind of stuff like this here, not just knocking doors down, but dragging people out.
Because it's the murder capital of the country. You just said black people are more harmed by this. We don't want to take out murderers?
No. I think really what truly was you're confusing what I'm trying to say to you.
Are you talking about the National Guard in Chicago?
No, what I'm trying to say to you is this, though. If we're going to talk about the problem, let's talk about the problem in its totality. The fact about it is, when you talk about white America being pissed, white America is going to always find a reason that doesn't fit their narrative or what have you. But what white America fails to talk about, and what never ceases to amaze me, is the fact that the biggest threat is not going to come from blacks. The biggest threat is coming from within. You look at the average person that's been committing some of the most heinous crimes over the days, it's 22 to 29-year-old white males, right? Look at how
No.
Salute to him, bro. He keeping it real. And now we just gonna sit back and let it happen. Don't even look. We telling them it's gonna be within. It's gonna be from one of y'all to take y'all out, because y'all pimping y'all own self. You have to get people, white people, and some people saying he ain't paid, but I believe he paid, because they're trying to push people to go to black colleges. They're trying to have these talks with black people, but we ain't going. We understand that this is paid propaganda. And I think that this is not going to work. But we understand the play that y'all
This is not true, man. Violent crime, you just said, like you said, a small percentage of the country, about 12 to 13%, 50% of the violent crime. But the murder, a 12 times likelihood.
That's a skewed stat.
If you just, so you don't listen to them?
No, I said that particular stat is skewed.
It's not skewed. These are from the FBI, DOJ. And you know what else we look at? We look at Roland Fryer from Harvard, who conducted it, black guy.
that black guy. You see how they want to say that? When we telling you that our black people are being controlled, you keep bringing up that people are black saying stuff. Like, that don't mean nothing to us, bro. Stop telling me about people that's black. We already exposing these people. You even have, if a person is half black or have just a quarter of black in them, you gonna say that you gonna put on that's a black person. You gonna screw the stats to make us look bad. We already know that. If that was the case, you would never burnt down our towns or did none of that red line. None of that would happen. So we know that y'all gonna try to make us look bad any chance you get. That's just the name of America. That's the agenda.
Black professor, really respectable guy, honorable man, conducted a study, and he came out and he said, yeah, all of my research says that black men are 0% more likely to be shot by police officers than whites. Black people got so mad at him, he reconducted the study, a black man from Harvard, and he came to the same conclusion, and now he's not black enough.
Wait, so let me see if I understand you clearly.
Yeah.
You're saying, according to this guy's statistics, right, that black people are 0% less likely to be shot by a white police officer.
A liberal professor at Harvard, yes, and he conducted it twice.
You can't make this stuff
because black people
man.
said what you're saying. He goes, look, I was as surprised as you. I was trying to find how much worse it is. My data showed me it's not. He reconducted the study an entire time. Now, he did come to the conclusion.
Do y'all see how they trying to push stats and facts down our throat that ain't true? It's like they gonna get black people. This is the same playbook they playing. They get black people and they gonna tell the black people to tell everybody that, hey, black people ain't getting killed by police officers. That's because they know if a white person say that, we're gonna be like, bro, you don't even got no credibility. Get out of here. Now they think with a black person, we know y'all playbook, bro. This stuff ain't working no more. We don't care what them people got to say that y'all co-signing. Anytime one of these guys want to co-sign a black guy, he ain't right. I'm telling you right now.
An officer is 18 times more likely to be shot than a black man by an officer. This is a black liberal who studies statistics. At what point do you listen to him?
And I don't believe him.
That's skewed too.
Institution, and if he comes out and says something of the sort, there's no telling the backlash that he may not get. Listen, there are token blacks in every society. I mean, all you have to do is look back throughout.
And there we go.
Right?
And Uncle Tom, this guy, come on.
No, but here's my thing. Here's my thing, Steve. Right? I'm not alleging that the guy wasn't Uncle Tom, but let's be frankly honest. How many shootings have happened in most recent history that have involved black men that have been unarmed, and you sit here and use that analogy that black men are 0 times. Listen, as a totally blind individual, listen, I'm even apprehensive. There was an incident where the police stopped us, and it was my cousin and I. My cousin is a retired military vet or what have you, right? And immediately when we got out of the car, out of fear of possibly being shot, the first thing I did was raise my cane and say, "Officer," I said, "listen, I am totally blind." Before we get out of hand with this, right? Now, I shouldn't have to react like that. But when you start looking at what's really happening in this country, many times because see, here's the deal. I don't care if you put on a uniform. You can't legislate the heart of a man and his intent, all right? And many times these officers do allow that badge to give them impunity to operate and exercise their racism. Let's be honest here, Steve.
Some of them do. By the way, I just find it funny that when I came up and shook your hand, you didn't tell me you were blind this whole time. I was like, I must have woke you up. You could have said, "Dude, I'm blind." I was like, "Oh, my bad. I'm sorry." This whole thing. You just throw that out there like a cluster bomb. I'm like,
Say you should have waved his cane when you came in.
So I'm gonna close it out there, but I'm with you, Jarvis. It's like I think he's just paid. He's paid to push these points, but we're not going. It still don't make sense. But these people gotta get black people to be a part of this. They gotta get black people to accept these stats, accept these facts. This is true. You're not, to try to take the heat off of them. So it's like they're gonna lie, they're gonna try to, throw people at our face, get different black people to do studies to say this ain't true, this true, but we ain't falling for it no more, man. But I got a video, man, tonight. I'm finna drop it at 12 o'clock. Y'all gotta check that out, man. They actually having a meeting with black people, trying to get black people to say, like, what can we do to talk to black people to get them, to be on our side? That's what's going on right now. So that's what we're going to be seeing. There's going to be a lot of black talks, a lot of white people talking to black people, trying to get them to feel some type of way. We going to have to be expressing this on the internet. So we ain't trying to let this narrative stay around. We're trying to give them the true narrative. So I appreciate all y'all for tapping in. Love and appreciate y'all, man. I'm going to drop something tonight, but I'm going live tomorrow. Trell Jackson, we're going to be standing on business. So I appreciate, love y'all, man. Catch you in that video.